So what really makes an NFL offense hum? Is it all about that superstar quarterback?
Or is it maybe the guys around him, those dynamic skill players, the
Okay.
receivers, the running backs, the tight ends?
Exactly. And sometimes analyzing a team gets, well, really frustrating when those two things seem totally out of sync. Like,
Yeah.
you've got a great engine, but maybe the wheels aren't quite right.
It's a classic football puzzle, yeah. And it gets even more interesting when you compare teams in the same division,
Yeah.
right, facing similar competition.
It really forces you to ask what the real driver of offensive success is.
Mm,
And today, that's exactly what our deep dive is tackling. We're looking at a really fascinating offensive skills toss-up right here in the AFC South
okay.
between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And we're basing this on a recent Yardbarker piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was originally on Jacksonville Jaguars on SI, written by Brian Anthony Davis, and it leans pretty heavily on Bill Barnwell's ESPN 2025 rankings.
Right, Barnwell's stuff. Always interesting. So what's the mission here?
Well, our mission is basically to unpack Barnwell's assessment, which is a bit surprising, honestly, of these teams' skill spots.
And just to be clear, we're talking wide receivers, tight ends, running backs.
Exactly. Crucially, without factoring in the quarterback play. That's the key part of Barnwell's specific ranking here.
Okay, so isolating the skill guys. Interesting.
Yeah, and we want to explore why one team's highly ranked skill players might actually be held back.
While the other team, ranked a bit lower in skills, might actually do better because of, well, other factors.
Precisely. And here's the real kicker, the paradox we mentioned, the Colts. Now, the article says they could be slipping backward into the football abyss.
Oof, strong words.
Yeah, citing a dire QB situation with Daniel Jones now in the mix and Anthony Richardson still there.
Right, that QB room is uncertain, to say the least.
But despite that, they actually have the higher ranking from Barnwell for their skill positions,
Wait, really? Higher than the Jags?
higher than the Jags. Meanwhile, Jacksonville, who most would say have a better quarterback situation with Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah, generally considered more stable there.
they ranked lower in these specific skill groups according to Barnwell. So it just makes you go, huh, how does that work?
Okay, yeah, that is a puzzle. Let's unpack that. It's a really compelling contrast, isn't it?
It is.
So Barnwell puts the Colts at 16th overall in the league for their combined skill position group,
16th.
which is second in the AFC South behind Houston, I believe, and the Jaguars. They're just a couple spots back at 18th overall.
So third in the division for skill spots.
Exactly. And this ranking exists even though, like you said, most people see the Colts maybe taking a step back overall, especially, because of the quarterback questions.
Right. So if the Colts QB situation is dire, potentially facing this football abyss, what is Barnwell seeing in those skill players specifically? Why rank them higher?
Well, he does note they jumped up 6 spots from 2024 and 9 from 2023 in this category. So there's perceived improvement in the personnel there.
Okay, but is it just personnel, or is it about how they're used or maybe misused?
That's the critical point Barnwell makes. He stresses this ranking doesn't include QB play. He actually says the Colts system and their pass catchers have been excelling.
Excelling.
Yeah.
Despite the QB issues.
Yeah, but the guy's throwing the ball. That was the source of the frustration. He points out that receivers like Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce were actually more efficient with Richardson.
The more inconsistent but explosive one.
Right. Well, Josh Downs apparently did better with Joe Flacco under center last year. So the talent is there, but the delivery system was flawed.
Okay, so it sounds like Barnwell is really putting the blame squarely on the quarterbacks, not saying the receivers had issues adjusting or anything.
The numbers he uses definitely seem to point that way. I mean, look at this. Last season, the Colts only dropped back to pass 567 times.
That sounds low.
It was the 4th lowest in the league. And here's the stat that just jumps out. Nearly 21% of those passes were off target.
21%. Wow.
Second highest rate in the entire NFL. Like the article implies those receivers must felt like they needed catcher's mitts sometimes.
That's really bad. It's hard to get any rhythm like that.
Totally. And the only teams whose receivers saw fewer on-target passes were teams like the Ravens and Eagles, who really funneled targets to just a couple of guys.
Yeah.
The Colts were just inaccurate.
So even when the ball was technically on target, was it actually, catchable, placed well?
Another great point Barnwell brings up, he talks about precise targets. That means hitting the receiver in stride, usually in the torso area, so they can make a play immediately.
Right, catch and run?
Exactly. The league average for turning on-target throws into precise ones is just under 70%.
Okay.
Flacco and Richardson last year, they managed it only 59.9% of the time.
Ouch. That's significantly lower.
It's the worst rate by over 4 percentage points. Barnwell says it's the worst mark by any team since Josh Allen's rookie year back in 2018. So his conclusion is pretty clear. The Colts receivers would be a much more celebrated group if they just had competent QB play. It's like they're being handcuffed.
Yeah, that paints a pretty clear picture. The frustration wasn't on the pass catchers.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the run game for the Colts? Jonathan Taylor's obviously a huge name, but he's had injury issues.
He has, definitely. He hasn't played a full season since that monster year in 2021, which is a shame. But the talent, I mean, it's undeniable.
For sure.
Remember last season, after he came back from that high ankle sprain, the last 4 games?
He was dominant, wasn't he?
Absolutely devastating. 117 carries, 627 yards, 6 touchdowns. Just incredible production.
So when healthy.
When healthy, he's still easily one of the best backs in the league.
Yep.
And that has to boost their skill position ranking significantly. That's a big piece of why they're at 16.
Okay, so Colts, potential elite receivers, hampered by QB play, plus a potentially elite, healthy running back. That makes his 16th ranking make more sense in isolation. Now let's flip it. The Jaguars. The article says, better quarterback situation, but they're ranked lower at 18th for skills. What's the story there? Is that talent just not seen as being on the same level?
Well, again, remember the better QB situation part isn't factored into this specific ranking.
Right. Skill guys only.
So for the receivers, the article kind of suggests they're maybe on par in some ways, but there are more question marks. You've got Dammy Brown coming over from Washington,
who hasn't exactly lit it up production-wise.
Limited history there. And then Travis Hunter, the rookie, huge college star, but there's the newness factor, the transition from playing both ways. It's a bit of an unknown how he slots in purely as an offensive weapon.
Okay, some uncertainty there. And the running backs.
The article is pretty blunt. They don't really measure up to Taylor. Travis Etienne Jr. is obviously good. He's got speed. He's versatile.
Yeah, he slashed quite a bit.
He has.
Yeah.
But maybe not that consistent every down physical dominance or red zone reliability you get from a peak Jonathan Taylor.
And the other receivers, Kirk, Davis, Zay Jones.
All solid players, good contributors. But maybe, in Barnwell's assessment anyway, they lack that guy you definitively label elite in the way a fully unleashed Pittman or maybe even Downs could be perceived.
Okay, so boiling it down, the Colts have these really talented skill guys, Taylor, Pittman, Downs, who seem to be held back by the quarterback situation based on those really concerning accuracy stats.
Yeah, like the potential is super high, but the delivery mechanism is shaky. Lots left on the field, you could argue.
And then conversely, you've got the Jaguars. Better QB situation, more consistency from Trevor Lawrence, presumably.
Right, which isn't counted here, but it's the backdrop.
But their skill group, while solid, isn't ranked quite as high.
Yeah.
Especially at running back compared to a healthy Kaler.
So the dynamic is flipped. The Colts guys suffered from bad throws last year. Pittman, Downs, Pearson, they could have done more with better passes.
Whereas the Jags group, maybe individually less acclaimed, might collectively perform better because Lawrence gets them the ball more accurately, more consistently. Better rhythm, more confidence, maybe.
That seems to be the underlying tension here, yeah. It sets up what the headline called it, a real offensive skills toss-up in the AFC South.
It really is. You've got the Colts with, potentially elite talent that might get suffocated by QB play.
Leaving potential unrealized.
And the Jags with the better QB who might need to sort of elevate a group that isn't seen as quite as loaded, talent-wise.
Making sure every opportunity counts.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In a league that's all about synergy, how much can elite skill talent overcome shaky QB play?
And the flip side, how much can a really good quarterback lift a skill group that maybe isn't packed with superstars?
It's fascinating. And like the original article wisely pointed out, thinking about those late season matchups, weeks 14 and 17, by then, reality will prove to be more relevant than rankings.
Absolutely. The proof will be on the field.
Yeah.
So the question for you listening is, what stands out to you? How do you see this playing out between the Colts and the Jaguars offensively? Which side of that toss-up do you lean towards?